again from Crown Melbourne. Russell Barwick for ESPN, and our coverage for the Aussie Millions Poker Tournament continues. With me, of course, is Sherry Biggs, and we are into the cash game. Sherry, it costs a lot of money to play these games. Reputations are on the line, and only the brave shall survive.
Well, this is absolutely true. This is the game for high rollers, and there's possibility of $1 million pots here. I mean, it's pretty big stuff, but people are putting their names and money on the line.
Yes, it's no place for the faint-hearted, and no place for those who don't have a lot of money, of which we probably don't qualify. The guys inside do, so let's head inside and see how things pan out.
Welcome to the Aussie Millions Poker Championships high-stakes cash game. As you can see right there, this is more of a balance sheet than a leaderboard. If you're in white, you're making money. If you're in red, you need to, you need to work a little bit harder. As you can see, Shing Fung down the bottom. He's down about 138,000. Some familiar faces from the world of poker are sitting at this table. Patrik, Antonius, you saw in shot. There is Haxton. Action is on Ike. I will remind everybody at home over and over again, this is real cash they're playing with. I sit aside 2007 Grand Final APPT winner, Grant Levy. Grant, you've played with a lot of these players. Tell us the difference between cash and tournament.
I've played with a few of them. I haven't played with probably about half of them, and that has actually been in tournaments, not cash games. But they're all high rollers. Big difference between tournament and cash is that, A, you can reload. So if you lose all your chips, even if it's $500,000, $1 million, you just top back up, start again. Just as this man has low, he's already added 250,000 today.
Well, he's betting out on a draw here with King Queen on a Jack 10-3 board, and Paul Newey, the Brit, he's up quite a bit of cash. He calls the turn, a 6 of diamonds.
And Paul has won a lot of those chips from low. In a big hand earlier where Lowe decided to check raise the flop and double barrel on a complete airball with just about the nut low.
Well, the pot around $27,000. Will Lowe slow down now?
My guess would be no. Hasn't really shown a propensity to give up at any stage.
Probably one of the bigger differences in cash game also is you can hear a lot of chatter at the table. Very normal for a cash game, very unusual at a tournament.
Yeah, a lot of time in a tournament you've got guys that don't have a lot of experience playing live poker, or the money is so huge relative to their bankrolls, so they're a little bit more kind of reserved and quiet.
Well, speaking of huge, Lowe picked up a plaque, and just to remind everybody at home once again, those plaques are $25,000 each. The pot now, $61,000 over to Newey, who has ace-king.
The plaques are $25,000. The orange chips that you see there, they're worth $5,000 each. And the blue chips there with the orange stripe, they're worth $1,000. Paul Newey grabs a pile of those.
And then the second thing is...
Newey thinking about it and then letting it go. So Shing Fung strikes back. He climbs up a little bit. He needs to get that red back into the white.
Yeah, and that's a step in the right direction. I think that's the first pot he's taken down.
A wonderful view here at Crown Melbourne during the 2014 Aussie Millions. This is the high-stakes cash game. A buy-in at this table will only cost you $250,000. And at any time, you can reload, right, Grant?
Yeah, as long as you're in for a minimum of $250,000. You can drop below the $250,000, and as you'll see when the graphic comes up later, when the chip counts, you'll see a couple of guys have dipped under $250,000, but they did buy in for the minimum of $250,000. We have Lowe and Paul Newey, who are both in for $500,000.
We had Max Altergott from Germany straddle the pot. Grant, a straddle, please explain.
It's pretty much an extra blind. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. Usually the guy that's under the gun decides to put in a third blind, and that is before he sees his cards. And the straddle, most of the time the straddle is not live. Therefore, if people just limp in, he doesn't actually have any options.
Well, he's just making the pot juicy then, isn't he?
Yeah, it just builds a pot, and a lot of cash games actually incorporate a straddle just to build bigger pots. They like to gamble it up a little bit.
Well, Doug Polk raised with Queen 3 of hearts. Low called with Queen 10 having him dominated, but the flop's changing things. A 9-4 deuce with 2 heart flop.
And as you can see from the percentages, it's literally 50-50. It's a pure flip here. But given that Doug is the pre-flop aggressor, I can see him just continuing to bet with these flush draw equity, and he's fair chance he might take this pot down.
It looks like Shing Fung is reaching for chips here. He wants to take command of the hand.
Well, we've seen him bluff previously. He likes to put chips in the pot, put some pressure on his opponents. The problem is, his bluffs just don't tend to make a lot of sense sometimes.
But the TV crew may need to take breaks anyway.
Yeah, whenever they would need to take a break, we need to take a break, obviously. But otherwise, we should just
He's
play.
really having a long, hard think about it. You can hear the chatter of the other players in the background.
You can see Paul Newey almost asleep there, just in the corner of your screen.
It's quite incredible to see all these players so relaxed with so much money in front of them, and yet the stakes are so much higher in so many ways. And Shing Fung eventually sort of argued himself into a call there, and a king on the turn, Grant.
Yeah, well, he just called with the queen high, and now he's picked up actually a gut shot, and he leads out.
Wow. The pot now around about almost $100,000, and the pressure's now on Polk.
And little does he know, he's actually almost a 3-to-1 favourite here with just the queen high. And Polk with a flush draw. Low putting on the pressure. Polk knows that Low has played a lot of hands. He hasn't shown down every hand, so Polk hasn't seen some of the garbage that Low has been playing.
Well, it doesn't look like he's going to go away. It looks like he's going to raise.
Raise to 82,000.
Raises to 82,000. So Doug Polk showing some real courage here.
A little bit of gumption from Doug. Does have the flush draw, but it looks like he wants to play a pretty big pot with it.
Well, Low electing to get a bit aggressive with a gutser draw. Now facing a very big decision. The pot, $180,000. And he picks up those $25,000 chips like they're a deck of cards.
And Low's line does look bluffy. The check called the flop and lead the turn. If that turn does improve him, the king of spades, I just expect him a lot of the time just to check to Doug and let Doug continue with the aggression. The fact that he's let out smells a little bit fishy.
He's one of the more entertaining players I've seen. There's Shing Fung. You can never quite tell what he's going to do.
I'm not sure he knows what he's going to do, Paul.
I guess being so unpredictable makes you so much more dangerous in a cash game.
Well, it does. And a lot of the guys that aren't actually poker professionals but love to play high stakes poker, obviously they have a little bit of experience playing the game, not as much as some of their opponents, but the fearlessness with the money makes them very dangerous.
Well, if Low pulls the trigger here, he would be picking a great time to do it. Even though Doug Polk's got a pretty big draw and he's actually ahead, well, Low changes his mind. So once again, we see Shing Fung sort of arguing his way through the decision. A lot of poker players do that without actually moving, and Doug Polk, with a very big raise on the turn, takes a huge pot down. And we'll be back with more after the break at the Aussie Millions High Stakes Cash Game.